Shane McMahon called for a meeting in this room. And we walked in the room, and Shane goes, I'm Shane McMahon. We own the company. We're going to keep some wrestlers. We're going to fire some wrestlers. We're going to keep some office staff. We're going to fire some office staff.
Let's talk about, you mentioned, well, first of all, DDP, we talked about him and what an inspiration he's been to you. Let's look at, I'd like to ask you about your glory, WCW. When the NWO, you became a member, brother.
Yes.
What were the NWO times like for you?
Oh, man. I was with Scotty Riggs as the American Males. We were Tag Team of the Year.
Wait. American Male.
That's it. That's it. And so out of that, Nash comes in the locker room and he's like, hey, Bible, what's up, man? I go, not much. He goes, you want to be part of the NWO? And I was like, are you kidding? I said, absolutely. Yeah. And so that was the same night. I'll never forget it. We were in Salisbury, Maryland. And that was the night that Bischoff went to the ring and he gave everybody 30 days to join the NWO or you were fired. And after him doing it, me and Scotty Riggs come down as the American Males, and we come down the ramp, and I'm talking to Scotty like, I'm joining NWO. And he didn't want to join, so we follow into the ring, man. And when I got to the ring, I was looking at Nash and Hall and Bischoff and the Giant and X-Pac and just all that star power in there, man, was just so impressive. Hogan, it was just incredible. And I was like, man, this is where I want to be, So I turned on Riggs, in the ring, and I was part of the NWO from that point on. But I think I was the 7th guy to go over, and that was a good time to do it because I was right at the beginning, man, and I stayed in the whole way, So it was a great ride, man. It was a blast. It was fun. It was iconic.
It sure was. You mentioned somebody in here who was on my list. Tell us about, do you have an Eric Bischoff from back in those days?
Are you kidding? I got so many great ones. Eric was great to me, man. Eric Bischoff is one of the greatest guys in my career ever. I wasn't big on Eric's list. Eric, I wasn't a big. We had a time that we were friends, but I was more of an employee to him, and I don't think he cared deeply about me, but I really cared deeply about Eric. Eric was a great guy, and he was really into Harleys, and so were me and the Steiner boys, and we rode our bikes. And Eric, we had a lot of fun with Eric, but he just, private jets. I was always figured in on the private jets going to towns, and so he kept me in the clique of the boys. Yeah. But it was like I was on the outer edges of it, though, with him. But I really respected Eric tremendously. But the things with Eric, I remember Eric Bischoff was on the road with our motorcycles. He took our Harleys, all of our Harleys, up to Road Wild. And so we got to ride our Harleys as a group. And it was really incredible. And on that road trip was when the 83-week thing started, kind of.
Yeah.
We were in that area of the 83 weeks. And I remember Eric, was giving us high fives, telling us we beat Monday night. We won again. And I remember the thought that we had as a company was high-fiving the boss, but really we were like, we don't really want to put these guys out of business. We knew that wasn't good, but you can't tell Eric that. We're trying to do the right thing, but at the same time, we do know that we don't want to put them out of business, but we were going to.
And everybody, by the way, everybody thought that this was Turner. It wasn't Turner that was turning the wheel. It was Eric Bischoff.
Absolutely. And that's very true. Eric was the whole brain, the whole mindset to all this. And the NWO was Eric's idea, the whole thing. And so here we're about to put the WWF out of business, and the WWF buys WCW. It was just such a game changer.
I know. What was your reaction when you saw Shane McMahon in the ring during the takeover?
Well, first of all, me and Sting were the only two guys, the only wrestlers in the history of time to do the whole stint at WCW.
Yes, I know that.
Me and Sting and I did the whole 11 years at WCW without going to Vince and coming back. We did 11 years straight with WCW. The only two guys to do it. And ironically, me and Sting, Goldberg, Nash, about $15 million worth of talent. The guys that show up late, we're all walking up to Panama City's show, and I see the WWF semis, and I go, oh my God. I said, what are the semis doing here? And all the boys looked at the semis, and everybody just split, and they went into the direction of who we knew in the office, and we were going to go find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Before any of us could find our person to find that out, Shane McMahon called for a meeting in this room, and we walked in the room, and Shane goes, I'm Shane McMahon. We own the company. We're going to keep some wrestlers. We're going to fire some wrestlers. We're going to keep some office staff. We're going to fire some office staff.
I mean,
we're going to keep some referees, and we're going to fire some referees. And he went,
this very
he said, good luck. He said, good luck.
This very cold and businesslike?
Very stern, and less than 3-minute conversation talked to us. And I remember looking at me and Luger were totally buff. That was our tag team at the time. And me and Luger were sitting right beside each other. And I remember looking over at Luger like, what do we do now? Because whatever Luger did is what I was going to do. And Luger didn't clap, so I didn't clap. About half of the room clapped, but like a golf clap, like, you know, kind of like that. Nobody really, wasn't like that. So we go look at the card for that night, and me and Lex ain't on the card for the Nitro. And that couldn't have been good. So I'm depressed about it. I'm leaving. And here comes Lex Luger running across the parking lot. Stop. We're on the show. We're on the show. So on that show where Shane McMahon bought our company, I'm on an interview in that show. I've never seen it to this day, but I'm on it. And the thing I do know that happened that night was they went via satellite to Vince in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And Vince named 5 people.
Yeah.
And I was one of the 5.
Yeah.
Goldberg, me, Hogan, Sting, Luger was the 5. And from those guys and other people, I was told I got the second biggest pop.
That's great.
And so everybody thought that I was going to be in the WWF for sure. I was main event one week, and I was fired the next.
That's unbelievable. Because I was going to ask you. People ask, well, why didn't he go to WWE and continue his buffness?
I came out as Marcus Buff Bagwell in the main event on Monday Night Raw, and I was fired a week later in Atlanta.
Unreal. Well, I've got a question to ask you, kind of that takes this on, okay? Now there's been a comeback this week.
I heard.
So now he's back.
Yeah.
When you heard that he was, through the scandals and all that, he's the biggest stockholder. What was your reaction when you heard that he was coming back into power? Allegedly not on to control any of the talent end of it, the production or the angles of the shows, but strictly in a business manner. What was your reaction when you heard that he was retiring and now his return?
It reminded me of everybody that runs a company. I mean, when Vince Russo came into our company, his big thing was everybody here that runs this company, it goes to their heads, and they try to become stars on their own show. So Vince Russo at the beginning, if you remember, he was never on TV. He had the twin brothers, the Harris brothers, the twins. He had them on camera, and it was Vince Russo's voice.
Right.
He promised all of us one-on-one, all the top guys, that he would never be on TV. From that first interview, it was a few weeks later, and he was all over TV, wearing an NWO shirt and beating everybody up with Sting's bat.
Wow.
So, again, he fell into the same trap he said he wasn't going to fall into. So those guys, man, up there, I get it, but they just can't. They want to be on TV and they want to be stars also, just like Vince. No different.
Yeah. So your feeling is that he had to be back in the spotlight again.
I think, yeah.
I think that's part of it.
I do too. He says he's back just to sell the company, and that could be. But I think he just, got so much money. He's a very wealthy man.
Wait. Have you got some money? I can, if you got a credit card and I got a credit card, we don't max it out.
Maybe we could buy it.
What the heck? It's amazing because Vince works. He does shows here on Sportskeeda, and I think comparing him with the whole McMahon thing, I think would be interesting. He may want to reply to it. What the heck?
You never know.
Keep it going, Vince. I hope you're watching this because at the after chat, anything can happen. Where can people find you on social media?
MarcusBuffBagwell.com is my website, and it's Mark Buff Bagwell on Twitter and Marcus Buff Bagwell Instagram, Facebook, everything else.
The Mark one is M-A-R-C, correct?
All of them are M-A-R-C, but Marcus Buff Bagwell's, and then Mark Buff Bagwell is Twitter. This Mark. The Marcus didn't fit with Twitter for some reason. So it's Mark Buff Bagwell Twitter, Marcus Buff Bagwell, all with C's, Marcus Buff Bagwell on Facebook and Instagram. And the main one to go to remember is MarcusBuffBagwell.com. Takes you to my website, which leads you to every other one.
Yeah, it's all connected.
It's all connected, baby.
Maybe it says our meeting will be up in 10 minutes. What would you like to say to all your fans?
I just want to say that, man, I've really had a very good, reaction to my fans from me getting clean and sober. That means a lot to me. These, wrestling fans are very special. They are in all the way, man. That's how wrestling fans always have been. And I really love all of the fans, especially mine. And just want to tell them guys, you guys, thank you so much for hanging with me. And, it's a story you've heard before with guys, they venture off. But, it was very hard on all the wrestlers. Man, we had a pretty rough time with this thing. I mean, 300 day a year job and, no off season. There wasn't never an off season. We're never off. There's never a time where you can, let's have a pizza tonight. I mean, we could do that, but you're gonna pay for it on Monday night the way you look. So it was never a time you could just take a deep breath and relax. It was 24/7 on, go. You had to count. You had to look good, tan, shave, working out, cardio, diet. And man, this gets to you after a while.
Would you do it all over again?
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. It was an absolute blast, but it was just the best time of my life, and I have zero regrets, Phil. Zero regrets.
Down the line, as you're recuperating and everything, there's a new Bagwell character. We're not going to let that out of the, I know I've seen it somewhere, but I want to talk to you about that on another time when we'll do this.
Absolutely.
All right, Buff Bagwell. This is Bill Apter and Buff Bagwell, and I still use my same ending. Here is, would you mind pointing out to the camera? We'll see you at the matches, right?
I like it.
All right.